they locked down the world and you couldn't go to the shop unless it was only a couple streets away? And you had to wear a mask outside while you're walking? Or you had to wear a mask in a dojo to do hard work because the government said so? Do you remember when people stored up the dunny paper because they thought the end of the world was coming? Do you remember when you weren't allowed to drive your vehicle after a certain time because the Rona would get you? Well, I just want to tell you guys about a story that I've seen in my country. So in Western Australia, something has gone missing. And I got about 2/3 of the way through this episode before I thought, you know what, I'll do a quick search to see if there's been any updates because I was wondering about it. And there have been updates. About an hour ago from when I'm making this, it's been found. What is that thing? It is a piece of radioactive material that fell off a truck, apparently. Fell off the back of a truck, as they say. Fell off a truck somewhere between Newman, which is to the north of Western Australia, and Malaga, which is a suburb in the middle of Perth, which is the main capital city of that state. And it's been missing for a while, I believe close to a week maybe, and there are a couple of articles that I saw because I was searching for stuff, but not a lot. And the piece of material that they were looking for was the size of a 10-cent piece. So Aussies, you know what that is. People that aren't Aussies, it's the second smallest coin that we have. It's probably about 1.5 centimeters, maybe big. I haven't really measured it. I might do it and chuck it in this video later. But very small piece of whatever, and it was apparently a little cylinder. Do you think WA went into lockdown over a piece of radioactive material that could have been picked up and swallowed by a child, or accidentally put in a sandwich, or eaten by a dog, or found its way into an old folks home or a playground? Do you think that would warrant maybe a lockdown just for, what was the original? The 15 days to flatten the curve? 15 days to flatten the risk you'd pick this motherfucker up? Nope. The thing is that apparently a piece of radioactive material is not enough to warrant a lockdown of a state or a country, to stop flights, to stop people coming in and out and using the roads that it was apparently lost on. It wasn't enough to put out a curfew or a radius of which you couldn't pass, which that would have made sense. Hey, we know it was lost sort of along this road because it fell off the back of a truck. Don't use this road. You can't use this road for the 15 days to flatten the risk. I was going to say flatten the curve. I know it's flatten the curve, but I just thought I'd say risk because it's a different thing, you know. Anyway, no, none of that stuff happened. In fact, there were barely any articles about it, and barely any updates on it. But apparently it's been found, so yay for us. I don't know, I'm just thinking though, the percentage of risk regarding that, I don't know, guys. I'd say I had a 99.9% plus chance of not ever finding that or picking it up. Pretty much the same odds as me getting and living to tell the tale. Better not. I did get it though. A sibling of mine was actually put into one of those camps you all talk about around the internet. Australia's got camps for corona and that stuff. Yeah, my sibling actually was taken to one and not allowed to obviously see family or workmates, had to stay there and get meals given to them, and they had to not leave the porch veranda for I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks before they were testing negative, but still symptomatic, so still sneezing on people and stuff, but they were told to get on a plane and go home. The logic has never made sense. The facts that they spew out has never made sense on that topic. But it just got me thinking, well, you know, you had something radioactive, which is arguably more dangerous. It's going to affect everybody the same, as in it'll affect people differently, but it'll have an effect on anybody that picks it up. Unlike the, oh, come on, man, you know the thing. Untouched will take about 300 years to lose its potency and break down. 300 years, but I bet you shat yourself when you heard me sneeze at the start of this video. Look at where the priorities are and how they treat things like the common cold and a flu, and how they treat something radioactive. Flu and the cold would affect someone vastly different than if they picked up a radioactive piece of material that would have a very similar effect on whoever picked it up. People in WA who don't know, pay attention. You got used, you got played. They used you to push through legislation that spans the whole globe. Leaders, all in cahoots, to make sure that when you make any movement on this planet, it's all documented and you're on systems everywhere. Right down to locking you out of a place because of your private medical history. And I know those that disagree, or that those who might be listening will be like, oh, come on, settle down, love. Because their attention span has been put down into such a tiny thing where they can get a soundbite, go, yep, I understand that, move on. That's all I know. That's all I care to know about this topic. I've got it from the mainstream media. I know everything about it that I need to know because that's what they told me. And life is hard, life is busy. They don't want to know your mountains of information or your questions. And a lot of these people, if you have a question, they shut down any type of debate that you could possibly draw them into because they got nothing. They got nothing. So I would like to know why a piece of radioactive material, those searched for apparently, and obviously I think they found it with a Geiger counter, and they were going past a section of the road. They found it 2 meters inwards from the road eventually. It was found not too far from Newman. So it didn't actually make it to Perth, where there's a more densely populated area, thank goodness. But if it did, it probably would have just been, oh, it's the Rona. You people caught some weird strain of the Rona, right? They didn't bother trying to do that because this is a tangible item that you can point to and say, this is the issue, this is how we fix it. Whereas something of a nature comes with so many variables that they can pump the fear, get the plebs to get so scared that they're crying out for someone to just take over the situation. And so these people that are that way inclined can just push through whatever they want. Just something that's been bothering me the last week or so. And I didn't do anything about it because, once again, I was like, this is a really big deal. They're going to find this in less than a couple of days because this is just crazy. But apparently not. Apparently we can have some radioactive stuff around the joint. But we can't have you having the sniffles on a bus.